So, good morning, dear students. In continuation with the previous class, we will discuss today the physical quantity. Earlier in the last class, we have discussed about the physical quantity. That what is physical quantity? That anything which can be measured. So, in that previous example, as I discussed about the accident, when and where are the two things which are related to the time and the distance. So the distance is 2 kilometers, as I have already discussed, and the time I have discussed that is your 9:45 am. And who and why, that is not being measured. So what I mean to say, if the description of any physical phenomena involving certain measurable quantities, then these certain measurable quantities are called your physical quantity. So as you have already discussed, physical phenomena can be described in two ways: quantitative, one is quantitative and another is your qualitative. Now this quantitative description is preferable than the qualitative description because it involves numbers and here no numbers. No numbers means no measurement. So what you can measure? You can measure in quantitative description only. Clear? Now, so in this quantitative description of any physical phenomena involving certain measurable quantities. Now these measurable quantities are called your physical quantity. So I can say that quantitative description of any physical phenomena involves certain measurable quantities. These measurable quantities are called physical quantities. These measurable quantities are called physical quantities. Now, where we get this physical quantity? In the quantitative description of physical phenomena. Because in the qualitative description of the physical phenomena does not involve any measurement, does not involve any number. So we can prefer only the quantitative because it involving the measurement. It does not involve the measurement. Okay? So we can say quantitative description is preferable than qualitative description because it involves quantitative description involves measurement. Which has evidence. Yes or no? Suppose you can say that, suppose I can say that 9:45 am. You can check it, the time. Suppose I can say 2 kilometer. You can check it. Yes sir, in the previous example of the accident, as I have already discussed that the distance is a 2 km and time is a 9:45 am है ना. तो समय 9:45 am कहला, दूरता केते कहला 2 km कहला. तो हमें आकु चेक करि परिबा, मेजर करि परिबा हो ना. मात्र क्वालिटेटिव डिस्क्रिप्शन से एक्सीडेंट मन को मु कहबी ताहले सेट कोन हो जेमति कि xyz हैला, जणे 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 एक्सीडेंट हैला और जण नाम भी सेटा में मैनिपुलेट कर परिबा. सो that cannot have any measurement to give its proof हैला. त प्रूफ दबा पे किछि नै, एविडेंस दबा पे किछि नै हैला. मात्र मु जदि गोटे नंबर कहूची तमे संगे संगे ताको चेक कर परिबो. सपोज आई कैन से मास ऑफ ए बॉडी, गोटे वस्तुर वस्तुतम नंबर 2 kg मु कहली हैला. तार तमे ताको ओजन कर ताको मापी ताको तार वस्तु मापी परिबो बैलेंस द्वारा हो ना. सो ये होची. सो फिजिकल क्वांटिटी रो डेफिनेशन होची quantitative description of any physical phenomena involves certain measurable quantities and these measurable quantities are called physical quantities hala. And where you get this physical quantity? In the quantitative description. Are you getting this in qualitative description? The answer is no, because quantitative description is preferable than the qualitative description because it involves measurement which has evidence. In another case, in the simple case also, suppose a definition to मुझे कष्ट लगुची कि कौन प्रॉब्लम होची, then you can simple anything which can be measured, anything which can be measured is called physical quantity. Then the last class में पढ़ते हैं anything which can be measured is called physical quantity. ओके, जहाँ भी आपण मापिले, जहाँ भी हम मापिले से होची फिजिकल क्वांटिटी, से होची भौतिक राशि होला. सो एनीथिंग व्हिच कैन बी मेजर्ड इज कॉल्ड फिजिकल क्वांटिटी. क्लियर? जहाँ में हम मापिले से होची भौतिक राशि. हां, तो ना नोट करि परिबो पिले देखि परिबो होला. सो नेक्स्ट हम जिबा classification of physical quantities. Classification of physical quantities. Now, the physical quantities are classified into two categories. One is fundamental, second one is the derived. Fundamental quantities are also called independent and derived quantities are called dependent. Fundamental quantities are called independent and derived quantities are called dependent. Now what I mean, what is fundamental and what is derived? There are certain, suppose you are constructing a wall, what a kantha tiyari karuchu. Kantha tiyari kariya pai kon darkar? Cement, sand, barley, water, brick, etc. So this wall is constructed from cement, sand, water and brick. Now who are dependent? Who is dependent? Wall is dependent. On what? On cement, sand, water and brick. So wall is derived. Wall is constructed from cement, sand, water, brick. Likewise, these derived quantities are derived from fundamental. So there are a certain minimum number of physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantity. जे का ऊपर निर्भर करिवो नाही, जे आत्मनिर्भरशील सी होची फंडामेंटल, आ जे निर्भर करला सी होची डिराइव्ड. हैला. सो फंडामेंटल मीन्स देयर आर सर्टेन मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज. मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ फिजिकल क्वांटिटी अछि जे कि तांकु छाडिले बाकी सब डिराइव्ड हबो. आउ से मिनिमम फिजिकल क्वांटिटी गुडा को हमें कोन कहबा फंडामेंटल कहबा. काहे कि ना सी ताको एक्सप्रेस करिया को हेले आउ कार सहाय्य दरकार नहीं. फंडामेंटल डज नॉट रिक्वायर एनी हेल्प फ्रॉम एनी अदर फिजिकल क्वांटिटी. दे themselves build up, they themselves are dependent, or they themselves are independent, you can say. But derived quantities are dependent, they are depending on fundamental. So I can say fundamental quantity, the physical quantities which are measured independently, are fundamental quantities. The physical quantities which are measured independently स्वाधीन, ये का ऊपर निर्भरशील नुहे. That is called fundamental quantities. Or you can say the physical quantities which cannot be expressed. The physical quantities which cannot be expressed in terms of any other physical quantities. आपको एमदी भी ए फिजिकल ए फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज को डिराइव ए फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज को हम एक्सप्रेस करिया पे ये कहारो सहाय्य नब नाही बा अन्य कोनोसी भौतिक राशि है ना. जोड़े फिजिकल क्वांटिटी माने कोन भौतिक राशि अन्य जे कोनोसी फिजिकल क्वांटिटी रो सहाय्य नियनि सी होची तमरो फंडामेंटल. And the number of physical quantities, the number of fundamental quantities are limited to 7. कितना फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटी अछि टोटल 7टा. ए 7टा छाड़ देले जेते बाकी जेते रहिला सी होची तमरो कोन डिराइव्ड क्वांटिटीज. सो डिराइव्ड क्वांटिटीज माने कोन? डिराइव्ड क्वांटिटीज माने कोन? ये जो 7टा फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटी आपको हमें कौन लिखिबा? मास, लेंथ, टाइम, टेम्परेचर, इलेक्ट्रिक करंट, luminous intensity, amount of substance. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These are the 7 fundamental quantities. Okay, so mass, length, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity and amount of substance ए विषय हमें पर डिस्कशन करबा. सो फंडामेंटल बुझ पारल पले फंडामेंटल माने कोन जाकू हमें मापिबा इंडिपेंडेंटली जाकू मापे पे अन्य कोनोसी भौतिक राशि रे सहायता दरकार नै से होची फंडामेंटल. The physical quantities which are measured independently are called fundamental quantities. Who do not take any help from any other physical quantity, that is called fundamental. Okay, or the physical quantities which cannot be expressed in terms of any other physical quantities are called fundamental. And how many fundamental quantities do we have in the physical world? भौतिक पृथ्वी रे केतरा fundamental अछि? 7 fundamental quantity. So एटा कोन mass, length, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity and amount of substance. जोटा कि हम ओडिया कहबा वस्तुत्व, दैर्घ्य, समय, उताप, विद्युत स्रोत, luminous intensity, दहनीय सांद्रता, amount of substance, उपादान संख्या. हैला. सो एमिति हम पाखरे 7टा फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटी अछि. बहुत सिंपल पिले ए 7टा क्वांटिटी को छाडिले बाकी जेते सब quantity अछि they all are derived. So how can you define केमति दबा derived quantities? The physical quantities which are measured dependently are derived quantities. Okay, or I can write the physical quantities which are expressed in terms of fundamental quantities are called derived quantities. जदि a simple रे कहबी physical quantities other than fundamental are derived. ए fundamental सातरा छाड़ देले बाकी जेते सब अछि सब derived. The physical quantities other than fundamental quantities are called the physical quantities other than fundamental quantities are called derived quantities. Okay, so fundamental quantity and derived quantity. Okay, so they are being unlimited. Suppose I can say what confusion thibo je kono कहबी माने derived quantity रे एग्जांपल कोन कहबी आर तो एग्जांपल फिक्स्ड 7 है मात्र आर कोन ए 7 जडी जहां मन को तमरा आसी वॉल्यूम फोर्स वर्क पावर electric charge, these all are derived quantities. केमती derived हला मन कर मु कहिबी force पिले force माने कोन F is equal to m into a. m माने mass fundamental. Now further the mind period, but acceleration velocity by time and mass by time है velocity माने length by time है ना. तो वर्तमान कौन है mass भी fundamental, time भी fundamental, length भी fundamental है ना. So force is derived from which fundamental quantity, mass, length and time. So in this way we can classify the physical quantities into two categories. बुझला पहले वर्तमान the physical quantities आउटर कोई दूसरी the physical quantities are classified into two categories, fundamental or independent and derived or dependent. जो physical quantity independently measure करिबा ताकि fundamental कहबा माने जे आरो तार साहाय्य नियनि हला जे आत्मनिर्भरशील हला आपको नहीं कि समझते हला मु कहबी एमदी fundamental derives derived quantities and derived quantities are being derived from fundamental, right? So the physical quantities which are measured independently are called fundamental quantities, or the physical quantities cannot be expressed in terms of any other physical quantities हला अन्य कोनोसी भौतिक राशि रो हेल्प रे ए फिजिकल क्वांटिटी आसुनी तान ताको हमें फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटी कहबा. आर नंबर केते 7 हला. ओके कोन अछि से 7 फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटी mass, length, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity, amount of substance. वस्तुत्व, दैर्घ्य, समय, उताप, विद्युत स्रोत, दहनीय सांद्रता अथवा उत्पादन संख्या. Now in the derived quantities are being derived from fundamental. So who is taking the help? The derived quantities are taking the help from whom? From fundamental. Who is giving the help? Fundamental. Who are independent? Fundamental. Who are dependent? Derived. So these physical quantities which are measured dependently means they are dependent physical quantities. Dependent physical quantities are depending on what? On fundamental. Okay, so these physical quantities which are expressed in terms of fundamental quantities are called derived quantities, and the number is unlimited. The derived quantities. The physical quantities other than fundamental quantities are called derived quantities.
23.50
हला. So ये होची fundamental और तमरा derived है. बुझिला. वर्तमान जीवा जेतु ए विषयटा आमे फिजिक्स कहबा तो आमे फिजिक्स कोन ता विषय पे पढिबा. फिजिक्स माने पहले समझ जान दियो पदार्थ विज्ञान बा फिजिक्स ताकू आमे पढिबा किछि वर्तमान. तो जेमति कि लास्ट क्लास रे मु तुमको कहि देली जे जेमति के चॉक पीस गोटे फिजिक्स पर्सन देखले कोन होइबो. इट इज सिलिंड्रिकल इन शेप एंड its length is 5 centimeter or volume is something and something है ना. ये विषय कहला. अच्छा. So जोड़ा कि ओडिया रे कहउछ पदार्थ विज्ञान. तो पदार्थ विज्ञान रो संज्ञा कोन आर डेफिनेशन कोन पढिबो. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जल्दी कहली फिजिक्स बिलीव्स इन मेजरमेंट. सठिक परिमाप एग्जैक्ट मेजरमेंट सठिक परिमाप रो विज्ञान सी होची पदार्थ विज्ञान. सो इट इज बिलीविंग इन एग्जैक्ट मेजरमेंट. जल्दी क्वांटिटी डिस्क्रिप्शन where you are getting the physical quantities. Physical quantities you are getting from the quantitative description of the physical phenomena. So in the quantitative description, it involving some number, and where do you get the number? Number केमती आसला? मेजरमेंट न कले नंबर आसीबो कि? नंबर आसीबोनी. तो मेजरमेंट करा हला तापर जाई कि तमरो नंबर आसीला. तो से जो नंबर आसीला से नंबरटा का गुडे सूचेइबो, का गुडे दर्शेइबो, जाको दर्शेला, जाको सूचेला, सी होची से भौतिक राशि हला. तो एट मु कहि रखे जे फिजिक्स बिलीव्स इन एग्जैक्ट मेजरमेंट. सो it is the science of, मन रखिए पड़ियो, it is the science of exact measurement, सटीक परिमापर विज्ञान से होची पदार्थ विज्ञान. मु मनरे कहली चॉकपीस रो लेंथ 5 सेंटीमीटर हैला. चॉकपीस रो लेंथ होची 5 मीटर. ताहले तमे गोटे स्केल नब आपको ठीक रे मापिबो. हम देखिलो 5 सेंटीमीटर. ओके, इट इज प्रूव्ड. यस, फिजिक्स इज बिलीविंग इन द एग्जैक्ट मेजरमेंट. क्लियर? सो फिजिक्स इज द साइंस ऑफ एग्जैक्ट मेजरमेंट. ओके, तो मान पिले पढ़ी थे 9th 10th क्लास रे. 9th 10th क्लास यू हैव स्टडीड न्यूटन्स लॉज ऑफ मोशन. न्यूटन्स का फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन कौन कहला? एवरीबॉडी कंटिन्यूज इन द स्टेट ऑफ रेस्ट और ऑफ यूनिफॉर्म मोशन in a straight line unless until it is compelled by any external force. बाह्य बल प्रयोग न होबा पर्यंत स्थिर वस्तु स्थिर अवस्था रे, गतिशील वस्तु समगति अवस्था रे दिग परिवर्तन न करी थाए हैला. तो एडी बाह्य बल प्रयोग न करिबा पर्यंत स्थिर वस्तु स्थिर अवस्था रहिला. तो एडा कोन होची वस्तु रो अवस्था परिवर्तन पई एडा गोटे रूल, गोटे रेगुलेशन हैला. सो all the physical phenomena, okay, a body is, suppose I am walking, this is also physical phenomenon. Clear? Now unless until I will apply the force I can't move, or unless until मु जे गोटे वस्तु को बड़ प्रयोग न करिछि, बड़ प्रयोग न करछि, ताले से कोन हबो? डिस्प्लेस हबो नाही, डिस्प्लेस हबो नाही हैला. बड़ प्रयोग हला वस्तु एस दूरता अतिक्रमण करा हैला. Force is applied and the body is covering a distance of s. So without the force the body is not moving. Without the force the body is not moving. So this movement of the body is the physical phenomena. And what is the principle? Principle is the Newton's law of motion. So for any physical phenomena there are some certain guidelines, there are some certain principles we can use. Suppose say body is immersed in water है ना. जमदगी from the well you are pulling out the bucket of water. So where as long as the bucket is completely inside the water, so long as you will feel weightless, and when it is coming outside you are feeling weightful. What does it mean? It is due to the Archimedes principle. Clear? So for any physical phenomena there is a principle to govern it हैला. ताको अनुशासन बा शासन करिया पे गोटे कोन रोची गाइडलाइंस रोची, गोटे प्रिंसिपल रोची हैला. तो ये जो फिजिकल फिनोमेना आउ तार प्रिंसिपल को नहीं कि आमे जो विज्ञान पढ़िबा सी होची पदार्थ विज्ञान बा फिजिकल साइंस, और यू कैन से फिजिक्स. सो फिजिक्स इज द साइंस ऑफ, it is the science of physical phenomena. Physical phenomena already हमें पढ़ी चुके. Physical phenomena and its principles. Physical phenomena and principle. This science is called the physics. And physics it is the science of matter, matter and energy. पदार्थ और तार शक्ति. ऑलरेडी हम पढ़ते फिजिकल फिनोमेना में मैटर एंड एनर्जी जो फिनोमेना हला सो जे फिजिकल फिनोमेना. सो फिजिक्स मध्ये मैटर एंड एनर्जी को लेके जो विज्ञान पढ़िबा से होची कोन हो? पदार्थ विज्ञान हला. मैटर माने कोन? पदार्थ. एनर्जी माने कोन? शक्ति. पदार्थ और शक्ति. काहे कि हम देखो जोटी मैटर अछि सेडी मास अछि, जोटी मास अछि सेडी एनर्जी अछि because E is equal to mc square है wherever there is matter there is mass, wherever there is mass there is energy, so the science of matter and energy is called the physics. Okay, so again I will recall all the three definitions. What is it? It is the science of exact measurement, सटीक परिमापर विज्ञान, पदार्थ विज्ञान. Physics believes in measurement. According to physics, I can say statement like this: if you are expressing something and in your expression it does not contain any number, then your knowledge is inadequate. Physics रे कहूची तमे कोनसी सूचना दोजो, कोन इन्फॉर्मेशन दोजो, जे तमे इन्फॉर्मेशन बा सूचना रे कोनसी संख्या नाही, ताहले तमरो ज्ञान यथार्थ नुहे. This is called a person of physics say that physics believes in exact measurement. Whatever you speak, that is not authenticated, that is not allowed, or that is not valid unless until you speak out in numbers. So physics believes in measurement, physics believes in exact measurement, physics believes in परिमाप बा सटीक परिमापर विज्ञान से होची पदार्थ विज्ञान. Now physics is the science of the physical phenomena and principle. Whatever the physical phenomena are happening around us, to govern that physical phenomena there are certain guidelines and they are called principle. Newton's laws of motion, Newton's law of cooling, you can say that Archimedes principle. Okay, so all these are coming are the principle and to govern some physical phenomena. Clear? Now it is also the science of the matter and energy. पदार्थ तार शक्ति र विज्ञान को मध्य कोन हम कहबा पदार्थ विज्ञान कहबा. हेलो, सो सी यू नेक्स्ट क्लास एंड तमाने पिले जहाँ भी लिखा ही देला सब खाता रे लिखि दियो, लिखि के अपडेट हो आउ नेक्स्ट क्लास रे आर कंटिन्यूएशन हमें करियो. थैंक यू.